What is this thing I found in my yard in Georgia in the US? I was cutting grass, and this revealed itself, and I thought it was my mower blade at first. Around 7.5 inches long, with a 3.5-inch triangular spike blade. It's blank all over, it's a bit heavy, and still very sharp. Any ideas? That is an OSS sleeve dagger, used by operatives of the American Office of Strategic Services during World War II. These daggers were designed for close-quarters combat, self-defense, and covert operations, and often featured a sheath designed for attachment to clothing like sleeves, pockets, or lapels. The primary purpose of an OSS sleeve dagger was to be easily concealed on the body, allowing for discreet carry and quick access in emergency situations. They were inspired by similar daggers used by the British Special Operations Executive during the war, and were adopted by the OSS for use by their operatives. The OSS was the United States Intelligence Agency, formed during World War II. It was the Wartime Intelligence Agency, and was the predecessor to the Central Intelligence Agency. If it's not a reproduction, that would be an interesting collectible. The originals were made in Sheffield. I found this in an old barn for $5, and no one I've shown has a clue. Around 14.5 inches tall, the points on it move, and it has no markings on it at all. My first guess was an old-timey ice block grabber, or to grab hay. I'm looking forward to someone figuring it out. I'm a picker and museum curator who specializes in antique tools. This is a 19th century double caliper, also known as Wheelright calipers. It's to be able to reference two different measurements. It allowed craftsmen, machinists, and blacksmiths to measure both internal and external dimensions quickly without switching tools. For example, one set of jaws could measure the diameter of a shaft for an outside measurement, while the other could check the bore of a hole for an inside measurement. What are these wooden and iron things found while cleaning out an old house? These items were found in the basement of an old estate. The tags seem to suggest that they were purchased at auction at some point, and I'm not sure if they go together or were just purchased together. The wooden thing is about 2 feet long, and the two iron items are tied together by the tag and appear to be identical. I'm really curious what this could be. Thanks. That is a set of antique horse hames from the early 20th century. I have one hanging on my basement. Here's another one listed online for $425. I have no idea on the wood piece, but it could be for picking up covers on a cast iron stove. The end looks about right, although I haven't seen one quite like it. What is this metal thing hanging over the fireplace in a converted barn we are staying in a UK farm? There is a sickle head, but it seems to have a spear that slides into the main shaft. The end is round and flat, almost like it could be stood up. It looks like an old way of killing livestock for slaughter. I'd guess you hook them by the neck and shove the spear rod through the neck, theoretically severing the arteries in the neck. But that's just where my morbid brain took me. I would very much like to know what it was originally made for. It's a 19th century cast iron thatching needle, used for tying together bundles of straw for thatching a roof. It was patented on February 19, 1937, by John Henry Darby of Rugby, Warwickshire, England. The curved part was put around a bundle, and the pronged part pushed through it. The twine was threaded through the prong and pulled through the bundle, which was then tied to the previous bundle's twine. What is this tool found in a museum in northern Germany? Nobody knows what it is. We think it's a farming tool, but we are not sure what for. It would be nice to know for a fact what this is. Has anyone seen anything like this before? It's a beet puller. It was patented on June 7, 1927, by William Yermak of Danbury, Connecticut. The prongs of the beet puller were slipped just below the leafy crown and around the top of the root, straddling it. The goal was to avoid cutting into the beet while still getting under its shoulders. With the prongs in place, you'd push down on the handle and pull up. What is the equipment displayed on this black and white picture in our hotel room in Austria? We are currently traveling in the Vorarlberg region in Austria. This black and white picture is part of our apartment decoration, which features old black and white pictures of the area. I'm puzzled as to what is displayed here. ChatGPT and Claude are at a loss as well. I'm thinking musical instruments. Any ideas? It's an antique cream separator from the early 1900s. It's a centrifugal device that separates milk into cream and skimmed milk. Whole milk is poured into the bowl at the top, and it feeds into the machine. Turning the handle causes a centrifuge in the machine to spin and separate the milk into heavier cream and lighter skimmed milk, and each comes out of its respective spout. Separation was commonly performed on farms in the past. Most farmers milked a few cows, usually by hand, and separated milk. Some of the skimmed milk was consumed, while the rest was used to feed calves and pigs. Enough cream was saved to make butter, and the excess was sold. What is this wooden stand of some kind that came from an auction in Illinois? I bid on this item for $2 because I liked the wood grain. It appears to be antique, tall and narrow, about 31 inches tall, 10 inches wide at the base, and it has a small shelf with 2 cups on either side. Google Lens thinks it's an easel, but it's not an easel, I know that much. Do you know what it was used for? It's an antique candlestick holder from the 19th century, used for domestic lighting before electric lamps were common. Here's a similar candle holder with a handle to move where needed, and a small brass box match holder on one side of the shelf. The seller said the glass candle holder is not original. What is this tong-type thing found in a hutch of miniatures? My mother-in-law passed away, and we found this among a bunch of random stuff in a miniatures cabinet. It's slightly springy and about 3 inches long. Her father was an engineer. Does anyone know what this could be used for, or what it might be called? It's the handle to an old razor blade sharpener, missing the glass balls. Not really for sharpening, for honing an already sharp edge, they work great. I used to carry one in my tackle box for my fillet knife. You have to remember that back in the day, blades were carbon steel, which was easier to hone, but also rusted. Modern blades are stainless steel with coatings that make them glide more easily, but are harder to hone than straight carbon steel. It was patented on January 2, 1934, by Admiral J. Warren of Washington, D.C., for the Eastern Tool and Manufacturing Company of Bloomfield, New Jersey. What is the thing with the wooden handle I found in a restaurant? I found this a few years ago on the wall in a local restaurant, and I've been trying to figure out what the thing with the wooden handle and crescent-shaped blade is. Nobody has any idea. My first guess was some type of threshing tool, but I think the blade would be turned 90 degrees. Any ideas? Please tell us down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.